Okay, alright. I'm gonna start. Okay, these are just two little bolts that I have. I'm not sure you can see them. Okay, and we'll take one of them and... Oh, sorry. Kind of go ahead one step. First, we'll need to mix the clay for the color of the eyes. I mix it because it makes the clay go a little further, and it gets a better color, and it also adds in swirls, which make it look more like a real eye. And just mix it in for a while until it gets to the consistency and color you want. Okay, and then you take these bolts. They're just something to use for putting it in the puppet easier. And then you just take the clay that you want, and you'll want to wrap it around the head of the bolt. Make sure to cover the bottom part, or else it'll come off. Then kind of make a column using it. And next, you'll want some type of round or circular or eye shape, or anyway, it can be a mold or just whatever you can find. Mine's just a melon baller. And next you just put it in a little and it rounds it, which you can't really see. Then you'll need a cylinder. I used a marker lid because, well, it's easy and it's about the right size. And just stick it around. It creates this little area around it. And just take a tool to cut the excess off. This is just a dental tool that has nice dental floss, and the other end is a toothpick. Then just remove the excess and turn it down a little. This is going to be kind of important later on. Then you have a little column on here. And now you'll need something that's kind of round. Then I'm just using a brush and just stick in the very middle to make a hole. And the next step I can't show you because it's to bake it. But I have some already baked, so I'll continue on now. But for baking, you just use the instructions that whatever your polymer clay says. It varies by the brand, I think. Next, you'll need white. Or, no, sorry. I'm trying to skip ahead, doing differently. I forgot this is a lot easier. I'm going to add in a few details on the eyes. Paint, different types of paint work, or these are really good. They're just watercolor pencils. And right here I just have some water. Dip it in, and it's hard to really see, but I just add a little bit of detail on. Then continue just some other colors. White, because I've noticed some eyes have just a tiny bit of white in them. And I have the different colors I talked about. But I'll just use one light brown. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you have to bake it once first, sorry. Okay. Okay, but this step is after you bake it one time, because it needs to be nice and hard, or you'll just squish it. And I'm using one more color. This is burnt umber, not the burnt sienna or whatever other color I talked about earlier. And it's not great because, well, I'm not looking closely, but just make it as realistic as you can. And then, if you want, this is optional, but I think it works a little easier. Just get a little bit of black and put it in where that hole is, and it just fills it in nicely. Okay, now here's the step where I was trying to skip to before. Just get some white clay, and you might have to work it a little if it's just off the brick. For baking, as I said, it's just the instructions on the box. Let me see what this one says. Do not heat above 265 Fahrenheit or 130 Celsius. And it says for 30 minutes on this one. I normally do just 15 minutes. Okay, once you have it worked enough and it's soft enough where you can do anything with it, you need to work it around the area that you created before. And it doesn't matter if you get it over a little, because since it's already baked for the main part, it'll scrape off easily. And just get the general shape you want. Then you get the mold that you were using earlier and push it in. And you might have to work it a little to get it fully rounded. And you might have problems like I just did. And if you do, just try again. Is that better? I don't... Okay, that's weird looking. Okay, that's better, sorry. And, of course, it doesn't want to work this time. Sorry about that. Okay, try working it again. Apparently, Primo does not work as well as other brands. It's just... I was using, I think, StiqPuppets 2 earlier when I made my own, and this just doesn't work as well, so avoid Primo if you can. Fimo or actual StiqPuppets 2 is much better. Well, I can't get it exactly this shape because it's just wrong consistency, so I'll just show you one I've made previously. Just, you want it to be as much eye shape as possible using the mold. And at this point, you bake it again, and this is just the second and last time you have to bake it. And then you use some type of sealant. I use Mod Podge because it works well for the color. When the ones I've already made creates a nice off color that looks almost like real eyes. Yes, you can use fibers, but you probably the yarn or thread on it, but you'd probably want to do that after you bake it and glue it on, or use the Mod Podge or whatever sealer to do it. And then basically after you've sealed it, which you can probably just use spray paint if you want, or I'm sure there's other things, but Mod Podge is what I had. And you'll want glossy, because otherwise you won't get the right look. Anything else? Any questions? Anything I may have missed? Which you think I may have missed, I mean. Oh, 1 second. I forgot one thing. Make sure that the bolts you got do have nuts, and preferably washers. Mine didn't, but since this is all I have, you use it basically same way you would on some of the doll eyes. Make sure you have it inside the puppet first, and then you screw it on. And yes, I just used Mod Podge on mine. I did not use anything other than Mod Podge on this. Alright, any other questions? If there's no more questions, I guess back to Daryl.